What's up everybody, my name's Trey and welcome to another video. Now before we actually get into anything, let's take some time to address the elephant in the room. I know my shirt's pretty wrinkly, but it is laundry day, so I was hoping you would understand. Now on a more serious note, it seems like a lot of you are having trouble when it comes to your financial well-being. And well, that's completely understandable because as soon as you make money, you feel that you're already broke. And that's probably because you have to pay bills, you have to buy groceries, and most times you have to spend money just to have fun. So it does make sense why a lot of you feel that you just can't get ahead when it comes to your finances. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay your bills and you should become a hermit that never leaves their house, even though that's essentially what the government told everyone to do not too long ago because of this pandemic. Now, luckily, states are beginning to open up again, so it seems that life should go back to normal here pretty soon. But how do you actually become financially stable, regardless of how much money you make or how often you actually get paid? Now, it doesn't matter if you get paid every week, every other week, every month, every other month. Like I said, the frequency really doesn't matter. However, the more money you make and the more streams of income that you have, the more likely you are to be financially stable. So in this video, I'll be going over the 5 things that you need to be doing as soon as you get paid. But before we get into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get notified next time I post a video. And be sure to smash that like button, as it really does help my channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it because some of these videos take a pretty long time to put together. And with that being said, let's jump into the intro. Now, the first thing that we're actually going to be talking about when it comes to the 5 things that you should be doing as soon as you get paid is, well, the fact that your money should be working for you. And if you've ever heard of the envelope method when it comes to saving your money, that's essentially what we're going to be talking about. And I know what you're thinking, what's the envelope method? Well, it's not a new concept that actually sprung on the scene in the early 16th century. That's right, it's pretty old. And I'll actually leave a link down in the description below if you want to go check out more about it. Because, well, it's not the most interesting read, as this is a pretty old concept. Now, we're not actually going to be using envelopes when it comes to storing our money. And that should be pretty obvious to why we're not doing it, because it's not necessarily safe just to have a whole bunch of cash at your house. And you want to make sure that you're putting your money in places where it can gain interest and grow over time. So let's say, for example, you make $800 a week after taxes. Now, I know some of you are going to be saying, Trey, I make a lot more money than that, so why should I watch the rest of this video? And the other half of you are saying, I don't even make half that, so I guess these concepts don't apply to me. Now, the good thing about the envelope method is the fact that it's based on percentages. So regardless of how much money you make or how frequently you get paid, you can still apply these same concepts to your income level. Now, the first thing that we're actually going to be budgeting our money on is going to be life insurance. And I know, life insurance, that's really the first thing we want to spend our money on. And the answer is yes. Now, contrary to what most people think, life insurance is relatively inexpensive, and that's because the price of life insurance is dependent on a number of different factors, like your age, your gender, your health, and a number of different other factors. So you want to keep that in mind, that the younger you are, the cheaper it is. And I know what you're thinking, why do I need life insurance? I'm young, I'm healthy, and I never get sick. Well, even financial gurus like Dave Ramsey speak about the importance of having life insurance to protect your income. And in my opinion, when somebody with more money than you is telling you how to be financially stable, you should definitely take some notes. Life insurance is really important because it lays the entire financial foundation for you and your family. And that's because the younger you are, the more life insurance coverage that you actually need. And it makes a lot of sense why that is. You might have small children, you might have some debt, whether that be student loans, mortgages, or car loans. And when you're young, you don't have a ton of money sitting around in your investments to pay off all your debt or take care of your family if anything bad happens to you. However, as you age, your need for life insurance should more or less disappear. I personally will have life insurance my entire life because I think it's a really good asset to be able to pass on to my children that I hope I have one day. But if a company or a salesperson tells you that you need life insurance for your entire life, they're simply lying to you, and they basically just want you to pay them for your entire life. Now, there are a lot of different factors when it comes into which are the best life insurance to get and what company you should go through that I'll actually be going over more in a different video. But for this video, I think the basics of what life insurance is and why it's so important are really the only things we have to go over. Now, the second place in which we're going to budget our money is going to be for an emergency fund. And a good rule of thumb when it comes to your emergency fund is the fact that you need to be investing around 10% of your overall income into this account. Now, the best thing about an emergency fund is the fact that you won't necessarily be investing money into this account for the rest of your life, as most experts and financial advisors really recommend that you have between 6 and 12 months of your overall expenses in this account. Now, if we look at the example I gave previously of someone who makes $800 a week after taxes, they'll basically be investing $80 every single week into their emergency fund. Now, after they've built it up to between 6 and 12 months of their expenses, they can then transition this money to different areas of their financial picture, whether that be paying off more debt or investing more into their retirement. So it's very flexible in what they can do with their money. Now, if you don't know why an emergency fund is so important, it's basically used in case anything bad happens, whether that be your car breaking down or your water heater breaking. You basically want an account with money saved up in it because you don't want to go into debt or max out your credit cards in order to take care of it. Because the worst thing that can happen is you take out some loans and you lower your credit score, and now your entire financial picture is messed up when all you had to do was save up some money to use in case of bad weather. Now, you want to make sure that you have this account somewhere that's actually going to make you money. I personally don't recommend just a simple savings account, as they're paying you like 0.000001%, which, if you didn't know, is basically no money. And how you can verify this is just by looking at a statement that you might have from your bank saying that you made like 10 cents and for some reason you still have to pay taxes on it. So I would personally recommend putting that account into a money market fund, like a municipal bond fund, just so it'll grow a little bit, and they're relatively safe investments, and they're also easily liquidated if you need your money for any reason. Now, the third place in which you're going to be budgeting your money for is going to be to pay off debt faster. Now, a good rule would be to spend about 10% of your overall income to pay off this debt. And if we use the prior example, we'll be paying about $80 per week when it comes to paying off our debt faster. Now, when it comes to paying off debt, you're not going to spread this $80 across all your minimum payments. You're actually going to pick one specific debt and stack the $80 onto that until it's paid off. And that's because you want to pick the debt that has the highest APR number, because that's the debt that's costing you the most in the long run. If you don't know how to find this number, you can call your credit card companies or any debts that you may have and just simply ask what the APR number is. And once you find out which one it is, you need to attack that debt directly. Now, a lot of financial experts like Dave Ramsey and other financial institutions call this debt snowballing or debt stacking, and essentially the concept's the same regardless of where you hear it from. Once you pay off one debt, you do not, I repeat, you do not spend that money and get into more debt. You don't go buy a new car or buy another TV. Basically, you're going to move that amount that you were paying on that debt onto another debt to help it get paid off quicker. This you're going to do month after month and year after year until all your debt is paid off. Now, when you pay off all your debt, I would recommend that you give yourself a small vacation. I know it sounds a little weird because we're talking about saving money and budgeting, but you have to have a little bit of fun too. Now, I don't recommend that you break the bank or you go into debt to do this, but throw yourself a little vacation or a little party, because I assume that you've been stressed for some time now because you've had a lot of debt lingering over your head. So after you throw that party or go on that small vacation, the next month, instead of using that money to pay towards debt, you need to transition into other areas of your financial picture, like investing for retirement. Because all the years that you've been paying on your debt, you've been missing out on compounding interest in your retirement accounts. So you want to make sure you transition that over so you can set yourself up for success when you actually retire. Because let's be honest, no one wants to work for the rest of their life, and you need to make sure that you have money saved up, whether that be in your investment or in different assets that won't run out when you retire. Now, the fourth thing that we're actually going to be budgeting our money for is going to be investing for retirement. Now, a good percentage when it comes to how much you should be investing is around 10 to 20% of your actual income. In our previous example of someone who makes $800 a week after taxes, they'll be investing anywhere between $80 and $160 every single week. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I understand why you would have concerns because, well, investing's not very easy. And how do you know if your money's safe? Especially in times like today when there's a pandemic going around and the stock market has been absolutely crazy, fluctuating up and down every other day, it seems like. Well, there's a ton of different information out there that you can go look at. One being particular Nerd Wallet that I found. The stock market has averaged 10% since its inception, which is really incredible when you think about it. Because when people talk about the stock market, they only talk about the times in which it was really down. They don't talk about how overall, if you were investing for your entire life, you'd be making a really decent return. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to start investing and make 10% because there are a lot of factors that deal with it. What does the economy look like? How is the stock market trending? What company are you investing with? What different funds are in your portfolio? I mean, there's a lot of different variations. The assumption just because the average is 10% that you'll achieve that as well. Now, the company in which I have all my investments through is actually Primerica. And that's because after doing some research, I found that their portfolios outperform their competition, and they let you start investing for as little as $25 a month, which is really important if you're on a small budget, but you still want to set yourself up for financial success in the future. Now, I also work for Primerica as a financial advisor, so I am slightly biased in terms of their products and their services. I just know that my portfolio is performing extremely well, and I think the company is very reputable, so I have no problem working for them or promoting them on my YouTube channel. Now, the final thing that we're actually going to be budgeting our money on is going to be expenses and having a little bit of fun. Now, I know it's kind of weird that I put this last on my list, but it's for a very specific reason. And that's because if you find at this point in time you don't have enough money to cover your expenses or to have a little bit of fun because you've already allocated it towards buying life insurance, setting up your emergency fund, paying off debt faster, and investing for your retirement, then you need to take a deeper look on how much money you're actually spending every single month. Now, personally, I take kind of an old school approach to this, and I simply write down every time that I spend money with a pen and paper because I never want to be confused on where exactly my money's going, and I want to make sure it's going to places that are beneficial to me. Now, reducing the money that you're actually spending every month isn't necessarily hard, but it does take some getting used to. I mean, if we're being honest, people, you don't really need Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as giving up little things in order to make sure that your overall financial future is going to be good. But there's also on the flip side. Maybe you have to give up a really big item that might break your heart to see it go. Like, let's say, for instance, you have a luxury sports car that costs you a lot in terms of repair and buying gas. Well, maybe it's a good idea to trade that in to get something that's a little more cost efficient. I understand it's a lot more difficult to give up your sports car than it is to give up Hulu, but it can be done. Now, with a little bit of practice, a little bit of planning, and a lot of dedication, when it comes to ensuring that your financial success will be cemented, leave a comment in the comment section down below to let me know which part do you struggle with the most. For me, it was budgeting. Before I wrote things down, I had no idea what I was spending my money on, and it always hurt my soul every time I checked my bank account because I swear there was supposed to be an extra zero somewhere and I just couldn't figure out where exactly my money was going. With that being said, if you are new to the channel, my name is Trey. I basically make videos about how you can make money online and create additional streams of income, and the best part is I practice what I preach, so you'll be able to watch videos on me actually trying out these businesses and making money doing it. Well, or losing money, who really knows? We'll go over it when we get there. And with that being said, make sure you hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.